It's Vancouver's podcast on the Canada's Podcast Network.
Hi, this is Angela Barnard coming to you from Canada's podcast, where we listen, discover, and engage. Today, I'm talking to Lance Montgomery here in British Columbia, who is a business leader and he's grown global teams and brands for over 15 years. He is a visionary and business leader and has worked with companies from early stage to acquisition, leading multiple agency teams. And really the most recent, including the largest telco in Canada. So right now, though, he's pursued an entrepreneurial journey, which we're going to learn a little bit about today. And one thing I just have to acknowledge is Lance's business was an idea 18 months ago, launched a whole entire platform 6 months ago, and it's already publicly traded. So that's my wow factor. That's fantastic. So Lance, just great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. How'd you get to where you are today?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think everybody in life always has an idea, and you every day you walk around, you see something, you think of something. But I think the difference between most people and entrepreneurs is taking a swing for it.
Right.
I had an idea. It was a personal problem. I tried to find a solution. I couldn't find a solution. I wasn't happy with the solutions in the industry, so I made a decision to solve an industry problem, and that's brought us to where we are today.
And so you've gone from being sort of corporate, working in a corporate environment, to now, CEO and founder on your own. How was that transition?
Yeah, it was always something that I had in the back of my mind. I always wanted to be my own boss, and I think everybody always does. I'm not a fan of punching a clock. I don't like being stuck to a schedule. I like being able to have a big voice and opinion in the room as to what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're doing it. I wanted something to be sort of my own, and this gave me that opportunity. And I always knew throughout my career, I've been in senior level roles for a long time. I always knew there was going to be a time where I was going to be running my own business, and
Right.
Finally did.
Curious, how did you know? What was the fire in your gut? What are your influences?
I always looked at the owners of the companies that I worked with, or the senior level management, and the question I always asked is, why can't I do that job? And there was never any reason why I couldn't. I always learned along the way and figured out what to do, what not to do, what mistakes other people have made, and kind of decided I won't make those mistakes. But it was always something where I wanted to have the ability to make decisions and build something that was near and dear to my heart.
Lance, tell me a little bit more specifically about HeyBryan. What is the problem that you're solving in the industry, and why does it mean so much to you?
Yeah, so HeyBryan is a marketplace app. It's an app that connects homeowners and home service experts. I saw a massive opportunity in the space to really help these experts that are already doing this work, whether it's through Craigslist or any other means, referrals from friends, but really changing the perception of this industry and bringing an end-to-end platform and solution to the market that gives homeowners the peace of mind that they can get these small tasks done around the house, with confidence, knowing that these people are vetted, they've gone through criminal checks, background checks, their quality of their work is good. It can be done on their time, on their schedule. No money changes hands. The easy way to think of it is Uberization for the home maintenance field. I think this is an industry that really needed the perception changed and needed to be disrupted. And I see a huge opportunity for it.
Well, and I agree with you. I think that needs disruption. I'm just going to say that, there's been some platforms, like you say, Craigslist or Angie's List or something in the past. One thing that I feel particularly attracted to your product in the market is the pre-qualification, right, of tradesmen, because isn't that everybody's biggest fear is, you invest some money and the job's not done to your satisfaction with your most valuable asset, which is your home, physical asset, right, your home. So how do you pre-qualify?
That was one of the biggest challenges in building this business, is ensuring that we are bringing trust to the homeowner and ensuring that we're putting good quality people into people's homes. This business came from an idea where my dishwasher was broken at home, and my wife was at home. And I wanted the confidence that if I called a company, that the person going into the house is not going to be a criminal, is not going to steal things from my home or put my family at risk. So in going through the process of building it, this was sort of the number one thing we needed to solve. Looking at the industry into what options there are out there and how to build this into the platform, we came across a company actually based out of Victoria, which is called Certain. Certain is an AI-based company that we've tied directly into the app that does background checks, criminal checks, and ID verification. How it happens is you take a picture of your driver's license front and back, as well as a selfie. And what that does in real time is it does a credit check, criminal check, and background check and ID verification. So that gives us all of the verification right in app that we know who this person is, we know they don't have a criminal record, we know that they have good credit, and we're good to send them into somebody's
Fantastic.
home. And then the quality of the work is based on ratings and reviews. So we put that into the control of the customers. To the more work they do, the better work they do, they're going to appear at the top of the list.
Right. Fantastic. So the actual, what is the service that you're providing to the tradesmen?
We're basically providing a platform that brings the business to them and gives them the convenience to set their own schedule, set their own rate, work where they want, when they want. I keep going back to Uber, and only because it's a very relevant comparison, but there's people who work full time but are also Uber drivers in the evening and maybe turn it on for an hour on their home and do a few rides. We're kind of bringing that same value to the home maintenance experts because we're finding people who are retired, who are just general handymen, who want to work 3 days a week and only want to work 10 kilometers from where they live. We give them that ability. We also bring the marketing to them. So they don't have to go out and spend money on Google ads or post ads on Craigslist. Don't worry about money changing hands, checks bouncing, schedule changes, things like that. We kind of bring an all-encompassing platform to the experts, and we bring the business to them.
So basically, you're providing all of the business foundational services to the tradesmen so that they can go ahead and just do the work that they love doing, right?
Well, that's exactly it. We want to provide these people the ability to go and do what they're good at. I'm not painting everybody with the same brush, but most electricians out there are probably not the best marketers, or probably not the best accountants, or probably not the most organized people. So they're good at doing electrical work. Let's have them focus on doing good quality work.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you're both brokering trust and you're brokering business, right? So
Absolutely.
I love the platform. Anyway, I haven't used it myself yet, but I love the idea. I'm excited about the possibility of it coming to Nanaimo. But speaking of that, where are you operating now? What are your key markets?
Right now, we're in Vancouver and Toronto, serving both cities. We started with a beta launch in Vancouver to just kind of test the platform and learn. We then did a full-scale press launch with Bryan himself in Toronto in March. That included live on-air interviews at Global News, CTV Morning Live, CP24, Breakfast Television, and that's when we really went loud and proud. And we're actually planning as we speak. We just walked out of a meeting this morning to plan to launch our next city. And our plan in 2020 is to go across Canada and every urban center.
So how can communities support you in coming to their region? What do you need?
I think it's more, our whole business is based on data. So, we see a lot of potential cities or potential customers who are responding to our social posts or sending us direct messages saying, when are you coming to this city? So really it's a matter of outreach by the communities saying, we would love this service. There's lots of opportunity here. And what we do is we assess that data to make a smart business decision. There's nothing saying that we can't be in every small community in every major city, but we have to be careful. We don't want to overextend ourselves and overpromise, but if we see the demand is there, and that's what people can do to help us, is show us the demand, and then we'll investigate, is there enough home maintenance experts in that space, because we have to go through a recruitment phase to get them in the platform, and then we can launch.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Tell me about Bryan. How did Bryan come into your formula?
Yeah,
who is Bryan? I'm Canadian, so I know who Bryan is, but who is Bryan and why is he such an important part of
Yeah,
brand?
this was kind of the light bulb moment, and really the story that everyone always wants to hear and know about. Bryan Baeumler is one of the most, or not one of, the most trusted home maintenance or contractor in Canada. He has 7 TV shows. He's known everywhere he goes. I've walked downtown Toronto with him, and every 2 seconds someone wants a picture with him. But anyways, how he got involved in the business is when I originally came up with the business idea, I named the company Fast Task Technologies, which just for no given reason, just I thought it was a good opportunity and a good name. But as I started to kind of build out our marketing plan and our launch plan, the cost to market with some unrecognized brand was really going to be tough to drive consumer confidence, and we'd have to spend a ton of money to get our brand out there. And one day I was driving to work, and I just got this light bulb moment of, a really easy way to minimize cost and to really bring confidence to the consumer is to add a celebrity to this. And my immediate thought was Bryan. Every time I turn on my TV on HGTV, he's on another show, or he's at a home show, or he's on the TV screen at every RBC across Canada. But the $1 million question was, how do I get a hold of this guy? I don't know him from a hole in the ground other than seeing him on TV. So I went to bryanbaeumler.ca and went to contact, and there was a contact form there, and I filled out a 2-paragraph little sales pitch about the disruption I'm looking to do. And the next day I got a phone call from a 416 number, and it was Bryan. Excuse me. And he basically said, I absolutely love this idea. I would love to support it. I'd love to put my name behind it. Let's talk. So fast forward a couple of weeks, I was in Toronto having breakfast with him, and we decided to change the company name to HeyBryan, which is a bit of a 2-sided play. One is a play off of Hey Siri and Hey Alexa and Hey Google. The other is, that's what Bryan gets asked 20 times a day, is, hey Bryan, do you know about Hey Bryan? Do you know? So that's where it all came from.
I think it's very Canadian, right? Hey Bryan,
Yeah.
Hey Lance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've heard a little bit where you've come from. What's the vision for? You said as far as controlled rollout. How fast and furious are you looking to reach or to grow your business?
It's all based on how much money we have to spend. The more we can put into marketing, the quicker we can grow. We've added a new CMO to the team, Kendall Bell, who's a very seasoned marketing executive. And we've actually built a predictable marketing plan where we know exactly, if we put $1 million in the top, we know exactly how many customers that's going to drive us and exactly how much revenue that's going to drive us. So the more we can put in the top, the more we get out of the bottom, the quicker we can grow. But our launch strategy is fairly simple. It's really a 2-pronged strategy. We go do a recruitment drive through social and digital marketing, and then we launch to the consumer, and then we manage the marketplace.
And are you happy to talk about capital a little bit? What's been your capital raising, experience?
My experience has been kind of learn as you go. It's a tough thing to do. There's a lot of people out there looking for money, and we're all competing for the same money. But being public really gives us that catalyst and that engine to tap into the capital markets. We've recently hired our new CFO, which is Blair Jordan. He comes from Echelon in the capital market space. So he understands the capital markets very, very well. So really leaning on him to help drive the capital markets and fundraising strategy.
Perfect. Let's talk a little bit about where and how you work, if you don't mind. So you're Vancouver based.
Yep.
You're in your office today, so you actually have physical bricks and mortar space for your team.
Yep.
How big is your team?
Right now we have 15 people.
Okay.
All encompassing from creative director to design to QA to development to customer service to marketing, data scientists, HR, everything is in-house.
And do you have any remote workers at this point? Are you distributed?
Our CMO advisor is actually based in Montreal, but
Okay.
he comes out here once a month where we have strategy sessions, and that's the beauty of it being 2019 and technology is you really all don't need to be in the same room. Hence, we're doing an interview here in the night. We have that luxury, but I do enjoy having the team all here together and all working together. It just makes for making decisions and getting things done quicker.
Right. So the physically walking past each other and conversations about a coffee pot are really important.
where ideas come from, right? I'll be sitting in my come up with an idea and I can walk directly out to our head of marketing and say, hey, what about this? There's value to that.
Right, absolutely. And what about as you expand? Do you have a team in Toronto at all?
No, not yet.
No. Okay, so you've launched in 2 markets. So do you anticipate keeping all of your team in Vancouver and just having a presence in other communities?
I think we may look at potentially opening up a customer service division in Toronto, just given the time zones, and the market in Toronto is quite a bit larger. But right now we're just going to stick with Vancouver and see where it goes.
Right. So you don't necessarily need a team in the locations where you have a brand presence.
No, not really. The only outreach we get from customers and home maintenance experts is either through our live chat, direct by phone, by email, and we have our customer service team here that manages all of those hours.
Perfect. What's just got to ask the question, any global aspirations?
Absolutely. Bryan and I get asked this a lot in a lot of our interviews of, is this a global play? And at the end of the day, people's homes are a global play.
Right.
So there's nothing stopping us. I think the only thing that is going to prove as a bit of a challenge is different taxes, different laws,
right.
Different languages. So that's all things we need to consider as we continue to develop the app.
Is there anything in Canada, talking about some of those potential red tape barriers, is there anything kind of front and center that if you could take a magic eraser to and say, this is, the biggest piece of red tape in the construction side of things or in the home maintenance side of things, what would you love to see wiped off out of the red tape scene?
In this small task space, there really isn't much.
Okay.
I think if you ask Bryan about, the large contracting and renovation space, he could probably give you about 20 things that he would like to see wiped off. But we're really focusing on the little. You need a room painted or a door installed or a faucet replaced. There's really not a lot of red tape. The one big thing for us is we want to ensure that our electricians and plumbers have their tickets, that they have business insurance, things like that, and that's just a process we need to go through manually. Right,
with certain. Awesome. So Lance, you're based in Vancouver specifically. What inspires you, in Vancouver? Is the particular activity, recreation, favorite restaurant, where you love to get energized?
I'm a big golfer, and I like sandwiches. So, Vancouver gives me the ability to golf potentially year round. And probably the number one place to eat for me is a little sandwich shop called Say Hey, which is down in Gastown, and that's usually my go-to.
Awesome. And what about your personal motivation? What do you have a inspirational quote on your computer or your wall that keeps you that's your affirmation every day?
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. I've had the same one for a long time. And it's always, tomorrow's the future, yesterday's the past, today's a gift. That's why they call it the present.
Oh, that's so sweet. It's a Christmas card in the making. And any must-read books that have been a great source of, innovation or inspiration for you?
I read a lot of books. I'm a big biography guy. So I always read on inspirational people, leaders. I can't name specific ones. The recent ones I would say, but there's actually a swear word on the front of the book, and I can't really say that, but there's many people who will know what it is.
Is it Richard Branson's one?
No,
no?
I think I have it right here.
I was going to say, actually, the swear word, it's not a swear word. I think it's Screw It, Let's Do It. It's the one.
Oh, here it
Richard Branson's book. Everything's talked about. And who's the author? Mark Manson?
Mark Manson. He's the same author as did The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Right, gotcha. And what's the takeaway sentiment that you loved about that book?
I think just putting things into perspective. It's really easy to get wrapped up into your own mind, and trust me, leading a public company can take you down some rabbit holes, and sometimes you need to unpack that.
Right. I have a few more questions about that, but I've just got to ask. Give me one soundbite as far as the experience of having a public company. Not everybody gets to that level, and you've launched out of the gates publicly.
Yeah, I think it's a whole new world. You're reporting to a whole new audience. When you're a private company, it's very easy to, just manage your time, your schedule, your day, the business, make decisions without having to announce that out to the public. Whereas
Right.
when you're running a public company, you're really reporting to the shareholders and to the shareholder community.
Right. And where are your shareholders mostly based,
All of Canada is spread across.
All of Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What is the most must-attend event on your radar?
I'm actually going down to a capital markets event in the Bahamas in January. That's where a lot of brokers go and people invested or interested in investing in tech stories. That's an important conference for us, and I think is going to be something that's going to help drive a lot of interest in the capital markets for us.
Nice. Any particular professional associations that if you were somebody in tech or somebody in in the trades in Vancouver that you would recommend?
Tech Vancouver is one that I've spoken at and that I'm a part of. I think that's a great industry, and they hold some really good events because there's a lot of people in the tech space who are either just coming into tech or are trying to build their businesses themselves. So a lot of great resources that I can tap into throughout that association.
Nice. And are they, is that a membership-based organization, Tech Vancouver?
It is.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. And what about any sort of time-saving tools that you use personally?
I'm a big fan of voice notes. So I leverage Siri a lot to keep me in check. Whenever I think about something or I have something that's on my to-do list, I don't write things down. I just tell Siri to put it in my calendar as a reminder. So that thing's constantly going off, but it keeps me in check.
Yeah, it's almost like a mini virtual assistant, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And any sort of last minute comments that you'd love to share with an audience, knowing that we have, thousands of listeners across Canada that are either business decision makers or entrepreneurs, that you'd love to share with them about the trends coming up from your perspective?
I don't specifically want to talk about the trends. I think, if there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are listening to this, I think, the key message I would say is don't give up. It's very easy as an entrepreneur to, run up against a brick wall and think it's over and throw up your arms and give up on things. But persistence is key. And the second thing is surround yourself with a good team. Get the right people in the right roles that are really good at what they do. And you focus on what you're good at.
Right.
That's been the key to HeyBryan getting to where it is today.
Awesome. Fantastic. Lance, how can we get a hold of you post podcast? What's the most effective or quickest way to get to you?
Best way to reach me is just through email. It's lance@heybryan.com. And I can always be reached either through our invest email as well. That comes to me directly, or just through email.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us, Lance. I look forward to seeing HeyBryan rolled out across Canada. I think it's a service that every community can take advantage of. So let us know how we can help you. And congratulations on the launch. It's been great. And I look forward to one day meeting you in person, of course, and Bryan in person. And once again, thanks for listening to Canada's podcast, where you can listen, discover, and engage. Thanks for joining us, Lance.
Thank you.